Esteban Ribovics versus Daniel Zellhuber from UFC 306 on September 14th, 2024 at the Spear in Paradise, Nevada is fight of the year so far. If you watched the entire Noche UFC show, this was the promotion's best top-to-bottom card of the year, with a generally entertaining undercard highlighted by two other good fights in Joshua Van versus Edgar Chairez and Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osborne. If you just watched the two big title fights, it was one of the worst, as Alexa Grasso accepted the bottom position much too readily despite throwing up a few good submission attempts, and Sean O'Malley was afraid to throw kicks, or pretty much anything else, until he finally hurt Merab Dvalishvili with a front kick midway through the final round. Despite an incredible pace and a ridiculous amount of strikes thrown, Ribovics versus Zellhuber just kept getting better and better each round, with the final round that was an all-timer. Both fighters threw over 300 significant strikes, with the third round boasting a combined 307 strikes thrown. Ribovics' insane 92 strikes landed in round 3 ranks 10th in UFC history, while his 191 attempted ranks 4th. One of the crazy things about this fight is despite being a banger, it was still a good technical fight, rather than a chaotic brawl where they were just winging sloppy hooks. Both had good game plans that they stuck to. Ribovics was giving up 8 inches in reach, so obviously he had to close the distance, but he did it technically and with deception. He kept coming forward with a combo, doing a nice job of mixing the hand he was throwing first and the quadrant he was attacking. Ribovics often finished with a kick on the stance switch, but if he threw a kick first, he usually didn't immediately follow. Ribovics wasn't over-aggressive, and he wasn't just biting down on the mouthpiece and coming straight in. He was throwing the first shot when he was closing distance, so it was difficult for Zellhuber to just hit Ribovics before he landed the first strike. Zellhuber was trying to maintain distance at all times by not only fighting behind his jab, but keeping his arm extended in between punches and using it to push off when necessary. The problem with his framing technique is his fingers were perpetually extended like John Jones. Jason Herzog warned Zellhuber about this countless times, but still refused to take a point when he finally gouged Ribovics. Zellhuber was certainly the less combo-heavy fighter. His goal was to stay long, keep Ribovics off him rather than coming forward behind his jab to land a series of shots. Zellhuber would certainly take the space if he was able to back Ribovics, but he was definitely the less proactive fighter since he didn't specifically have to work to land. He was content to use the single jab or to kick on the stance switch. When Ribovics was close, Zellhuber looked for the knee down the middle. Ribovics did a great job of getting inside and keeping his head moving, so he surprisingly wasn't getting hit back too often while he was throwing his combinations or exiting. He stayed low well and worked the body, but he never tried to level change to even make Zellhuber consider a takedown. Ribovics probably should get with the modern kicking style and attack the calf rather than the thigh. Despite these limitations, he was clearly the more skilled fighter, to the point you often forgot just how much reach he was making up for. Despite their completely different striking styles, they were incredibly evenly matched, and no one had an advantage for long until the third round. One of the only counters Zellhuber landed was a right elbow early in the third that dropped Ribovics when he was trying to exit after finishing his combo by landing a left. Ribovics barely took a break when Zellhuber gouged him after the knockdown, and came back with a lead uppercut overhand right combo at 3:15 that sent Zellhuber wobbling. After 30 seconds of Ribovics throwing as fast as he possibly could against the cage, Zellhuber tripped while running away. Zellhuber wasn't answering back, and he was certainly in drunken boxing mode, but he was dipping, ducking, and rolling Ribovics' fast shots. Part of the problem is Ribovics was also so excited that he just threw as often as he could, rather than measuring his blows a little more and trying to make sure he landed one big one rather than just mashing buttons. Zellhuber finally started throwing back after another 30 seconds, but was clearly still hurt badly and just operating on instinct. Ribovics threw what Daniel Cormier exaggeratingly claimed was 1,000 punches in the final 3 minutes 15 seconds trying for the knockout, but this still wasn't just one-way traffic, as Zellhuber did his best to fight back in the final 2 minutes. It felt like it could be a 10-8 round for Ribovics while watching it the first time, but Zellhuber was the one that actually got the knockdown, and his defense was better than it appeared to be on the first viewing. This was truly an insane and amazing round of the year for sure. The first 2 rounds were consistently good, competitive stuff that could have gone either way, but nothing off the charts like the third where their hearts and desire really came to the forefront. While they were trading constantly, they had so many options and adapted so well to what the other was doing that their exchanges didn't become samey outside of maybe the hooks Ribovics was throwing while trying to finish Zellhuber in the third. Ribovics won a 29-28 split decision. Excellent match that will be remembered for a long time.